Join me right now on Kumite TV is Australian combat sports legend John Wayne Parr. What's going on, man?
May good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to have a chat.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Let's talk about the past year or so. You haven't been competing. The last time we saw you was in Budapest. At Bellator
Yes,
Kickboxing 9. Why such
yes.
the long layoff?
I believe it's Bellator. They're very concentrated on the MMA. They're actually killing it. Pretty much doing a promotion every weekend. The kickboxing, I don't think it's getting enough attention or the ratings that it deserves. So it's hard for the TV networks to justify airing them if they're not going to get the ratings. So I think they've pulled right back on the kickboxing side of things and just concentrating on the MMA, which sort of sucks for the guys that are doing the kickboxing. But at the same time, you got to understand it's all about business, and if the business isn't successful, they have to keep moving on and keep entertaining the fans for what they want to see. So in Australia and overseas, kickboxing is huge, but I guess the American fans prefer the MMA, I guess.
Well, with that going on with Bellator, did you ever think throughout the year that maybe I should just test myself in MMA? You saw Raymond Daniels go in there and just do some incredible work.
Yeah, he was amazing. I'm sort of at the end of my career now, so if I was a little bit younger, for sure, I wouldn't mind uh, stepping into the dark side. But I'm 43 years old. I just want to finish my career. I've only have maybe hopefully 5 more fights left in me, and I just want to continue doing what I enjoy doing. Because I know with one MMA fight, if I lose to a choke or an armbar or something that I'm not used to, then my whole reputation is regarded in that one MMA fight. I told you he was never that good, or this and that. But if I keep competing in the sport that I love, and I'd rather lose doing something that I'm good at than something that I'm not good at. If that makes sense.
Oh, definitely makes sense. I never thought of it that way, that if you do take one fight, it could kind of, you know, keep this memory of you as that one fight in
Yeah,
MMA, and it is a big risk.
jeopardize my whole legacy.
Yeah, definitely. Now I wanted to go back to, Australia, the development of combat sports in that region. What are your thoughts on how it has developed in the past 10 years? Because it seems like it's back in the spotlight, or it's in the spotlight right now.
Yeah, no, we've been very lucky since the late '90s. We've had the kickboxing has been on Fox Sports once a week. We had the magazines that were coming out once a month as well. So you're always up to date with the about the young kids coming up, and you could watch them progress on the Fox Sports. And then only in the past probably year or so, Fox is no longer airing the kickboxing now because MMA and UFC is so popular that it doesn't get the airtime anymore. And then the kickboxing, because of the internet and social media, they're no longer publishing the magazine. So it's very hard for the new guys to get their face out there and their profile out there. So it all relies on reputation,
Mhm.
fighting exciting, and have people to talk about you on the social media and trying to pump you up your profile that way instead of the other networks. So
Yeah.
these days you really have to fight hard and get the world talking and everyone talking your name to expand. It's harder than it was 10 years ago, I believe.
Now, we mentioned earlier that you are signed with Bellator
Yes.
Kickboxing, and now you're going out to Japan, for I believe, the 17th time. How did this fight come together with Rizin?
Through Scott Coker. Scott Coker's been searching high and low, trying to keep me active. I've been emailing him constantly, trying to get something happening to keep me active. Like I said, it's been just over a year since my last fight. And then at 43, I don't have time. I don't have much time on my side. I know I'm getting older. Like gray hairs are starting to pop out through now. It's it's hard. So I just want to be active. I want to try and have at least maybe 5 more fights. Like I said, with my boxing and my Muay Thai, I'm currently on 145 fights right now. I'd love to finish on 150, and the only way to do that is to be active and stay busy and try and get some more names on my record. So luckily, Scott Coker emailed me, said there's an opportunity to fight in Japan. And of course, I'm not going to say no. I love Japan. Japan's amazing. The fans are awesome, and the crowds are awesome. The shows are amazing. So I'm very excited to come back and hopefully entertain once again. And if I can fight exciting enough, hopefully I get invited back one more time.
Was Danilo the first opponent that was offered to you, or did you have someone else in mind when Rizin, came up in the talks?
I'm happy to fight anybody. It's been so long since my last fight that it doesn't matter anymore. I just want to get back in there and get back to work. Uh, the gentleman that I'm matched with this one, he looks very strong, very aggressive. But at the same time, I'm going to be training as hard as I can to make sure no shortcuts are taken. Be 100% fit. Trying to fight exciting, trying to fight aggressively, and trying to entertain so people want to see me back.
Yeah, you're about a month and a half away from the event. What aspects of the training have you started to add to ready yourself for the fight?
The main thing now is just getting fit. I'm already 80% there, so it's just that last little bit of work just to get stronger, sharper, and make sure I have enough fuel in the tank to go crazy from the first round to the last round. I really want to put on a good show this fight, and everyone likes a stoppage. I don't want to win by points. I want to go out there and really dominate. And if I win by a knockout, that it's definitely going to make my 100th win a lot more memorable.
Yeah, speaking of that, how much has chasing that 100th win motivated you to kind of continue fighting?
No, very much. To be so close, to be on the cusp is it's hard because, like you were saying, my last fight was in Budapest, 2018. So to have that monkey on my back and the be so close to a milestone, and then to have no fights, it's been driving me crazy. So I'm so excited to get back in there and hopefully get the win, and just to have that pressure of joining the elite group of the 100 club.
Yeah, the Century Club. Going back to Budapest, when you went to the judges in that fight, were you
Yes.
were you super nervous, that you could
No,
be
no.
getting your 100th win? What was going through
I,
your
I was
mind?
I was 100% confident that I won the fight. I believe that I did enough in the first two rounds. The last round was very close. It could have gone to my opponent, could have gone to me. I'm not quite sure, but I definitely the first two rounds I thought I did enough. So when it came for the judge to the referee to raise my hand, I was so excited. And then when they called the other gentleman's name out, I was like, "What?" A little bit heartbreaking, but like everyone says, you can't leave it to the judges. So I've got no one else to blame but myself. But it's more fuel for the fire for this fight coming up in Japan. I really want to right or wrong and make sure that it doesn't happen again. I have no excuses. I can only rely on myself to perform to the best of my capabilities and hopefully make sure that I do get the win this time.
At your facility, at your gym, who are some of the guys that you've been working with and will be working with to prepare for this fight?
I have a young gentleman called Ben Marnie. He's had about 40 Muay Thai fights with me. He's just turned professional boxing, so I believe he's 7-0 right now, and one of the future hopefully champions in Australia. The way that he's going and the way that he's focused, so he's really good rounds to spar with. I brought my friend Kevin Dick from New Zealand to Australia to help hold pads me for the next 6 weeks, twice a day. So fitness won't be a problem. Sparring won't be a problem. And then I have a few other gentlemen. Elliot Compton, who's also going to be. He comes down once a week to spar me as well. So, and another gentleman called Jake Lunn. He's also an amazing prospect that's fighting for his world title in a few weeks also. So everyone seems to be fighting at the same time. So it's perfect. They'll all help each other and all prosper and all help Australia get on the map on the world scene.
You're going to Japan, fighting in that country. How is it different from any other location? You fought everywhere. Budapest, your last fight, Jamaica, Thailand, you could just list every country basically in the world.
Yeah, Japan's cool. It's such a unique crowd with it's so quiet when you walk out there. Sometimes there's crowds of 40,000 people, yet you can still hear a pin drop. The hardest part is when you're trading, you're with your opponent and you're both slugging it out, going toe to toe, and all you want to hear is a little bit of feedback from the crowd, and maybe you hear a slight little applause, and it goes back to quiet again. So yeah, it's a weird environment, but at the same time, it's the best environment at the same time. And then the fans, back when I used to fight for K1, the fans almost used to camp in the foyer, and every time the lift door would open, everyone ran to the lift to try and get a photo or an autograph, or a few other gentlemen. They'd bring presents. Oh, we know you got a young daughter. Here's a bag of Hello Kitty dolls and dresses, and it's like, wow, this is insane. So, and I also had one time I was walking down the street, and a gentleman seen me. He stopped. He dropped to his knees and started crying right in front of me. And then I helped him up, and I said, "Oh, are you okay?" He goes, "Oh, I was coming to the hotel to see you, and then here I am seeing you in the street. This is amazing. It was meant to be. I'm so happy." So, oh, you don't have to cry though. Just a handshake will do. No tears. Try them up. Suck them up, mate.
Yeah, the level of fandom in Japan is, it's incredible for the fighters to feel that love, because sometimes you have
Yeah,
to feel the love, sometimes you go out there, you want that love, you want to know that people want to come and see you fight, right?
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, that's why it's one of the crazy countries, the fun countries to fight in, because yeah, you're appreciated. Win, lose, or draw. As long as you fight as hard as you can, even if you lose, but you fight hard, the fans still love you. They still appreciate the warrior aspect of fighting. As long as you don't give up, if you get up, even if you get knocked down and you get back up, the crowd will love you more for showing that samurai spirit instead of laying on the ground and feeling sorry for yourself. If you can get up and keep persevering, you'll never lose a fan in Japan, that's for sure.
You're the current owner of Cage Muay Thai, right? Which is an incredible event that you've thrown before. What is the status of that promotion right now?
At the moment, we're just having a little bit of a break. We've done 10 shows in the past, and every single show has been absolutely so exciting. Just the little MMA gloves completely changed the game in Muay Thai, because one little mistake and all of a sudden you're either knocked out or knocked down, or just pain. And then inside the cage is a different environment as well compared to a ring. It just feels like everything's enclosed. It feels more like a coliseum than it does for the ring does. Is more of a locked in. Once the cage door closes, it's just you, the opponent, and the referee. So it definitely adds a different environment, but definitely exciting. It's so exciting. I've out of the 10 promotions that we've done, I fought in 8 of them, and then every single one of them has been just a different level of just crazy. But at the same time, absolutely love it. And the hardest thing about being the promoter and the main event is there's so much work and there's so much stress. And then sometimes you might make a profit. Sometimes if you don't get enough people in the door, you're chasing your tail, and you might have to take out a little bit of money from the house to pay the bills, because you don't want to be that guy that not pay the bills. You don't want to have that reputation. So it's not easy. It's promoting. I give all the credit to Rizin and Bellator and all those promotions that are successful, because there's so much that goes on behind the scenes to make the event a success. So yeah, it's much easier to be the fighter, rock up, fight, compete, get paid, go home. Whereas when you're the promoter, then you gotta lots of nights just sitting in front of the computer, trying to make sure there's no loose ends, and making sure everyone's happy.
Yeah, definitely. Now there was a documentary released in 2011 about your life, blessed
Yes.
with Venom. It was epic. The next step, I would believe, is a biopic. If they would make one, if they're gonna film one, who plays you?
Chris Hemsworth.
Okay, okay.
He's got the cute Aussie accent. We've almost got the same body type, except for he's about 40 kilos heavier than me. And plus, I talked to Chris a fair bit on the private message, and he's a really cool guy. He's so cool. He's a big fight fan. He's also trains in martial arts also besides his weights, and got to keep it Australian as well. Okay, keep it in the country.
Which accomplishments and fights would you highlight in that movie if you could control what is being made?
Ooh. Definitely the Thailand. I've been so lucky to be the first Australian to fight at the famous Lumpini Stadium, to fight on the King's birthday so many times, and just to get the respect from the Thais. Going to Thailand as a Westerner, you look down upon as if you're almost intruding on their sport. But when you go in there and then you win, to get the respect, it's it's so worthwhile and so fulfilling that you've stood out from the tens of thousands of other Westerners that come there before and to lost and been embarrassed, and to go out there and to win. I've been lucky to win 2 world titles in Bangkok, and they're out of my 10 world titles, my 2 in Bangkok are definitely the most precious to me because I did it the hard way.
You know, you got a lot of MMA guys coming through your facility, training with you, you know, big names, you know, up and comers, prospects. Right now, the biggest fight, people consider the biggest fight in Australasia history, will happen at UFC 243. Are you following that?
Oh, for sure. I was only talking to my friend Kevin yesterday, wondering if we're going to fly down for it. It'll be such a historical moment. I'm friends of both Whittaker and Israel, so it's a tough one. I'm definitely on the fence. Both guys are amazing, and both guys are just really cool guys as well. So it's going to be a very intriguing competition. Robert Whittaker is he's no nonsense. He gets the business done. He's very aggressive. Whereas Stylebender, he's just a different class and crazy. You never know what to expect, and he's so good and so unpredictable and so unorthodox. So that's what makes the fight so exciting. I really can't wait for that one. I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully I'll be in the crowd for it. That'd be really cool to watch live.
Well, you know, you get to compete August 18th, Rizin 18, Nagoya, Japan. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Parr, for your time, and it was an honor speaking with you.
Hey, no problem. It's absolutely a pleasure. And then anytime, hit us up. I'd love to chat more.